I thank the Speaker for yielding. Mr. Speaker, with the recent murder conviction of abortion Dr. Kermit Gosnell, we've got to encourage Americans to ask, how different really is Gosnell's house of horrors from abortions that occur in clinics throughout the United States? The tragic answer, not much. Not much at all. Mr. Speaker, there are Kermit Gosnells all over America. Predators, child abusers, exploiters of women. Some abortionists may have cleaner sheets than Gosnell did, and better sterilized equipment, and better trained accomplices. But what they do, and what Gosnell did for 4 decades, kill babies and hurt women, is the same. Will Americans ever be told the horrifying details as to how and how often abortionists dismember, decapitate, and chemically poison innocent babies? Where is the outrage, Mr. Speaker, over the 55 million child victims who have been brutally killed by abortion over the last 40 years, and the millions of women who have been hurt physically, emotionally, and psychologically? And why the appalling lack of compassion? Why the empathy deficit for the victims, women and children, by so many, including and especially President Obama and Vice President Biden? Women and children, Mr. Speaker, deserve better. And of course, Gosnell's trial isn't the first to rip the benign facade of legitimacy from the abortion industry. As far back as 1975, Dr. Kenneth Edlin was convicted by a jury in Boston of murdering an African-American baby boy found dead and abandoned in the Boston City Hospital morgue. An investigation that led to trial revealed that the child was yet another Kenneth Edlin victim. When the jury saw the picture of the dead baby, they were appalled and persuaded that indeed a homicide had occurred. Astonishingly, that conviction was subsequently overturned by the Massachusetts Supreme Court, which simply dismissed the murder as yet another legal abortion. Mr. Speaker, how did Planned Parenthood react to the reversal of verdict? With euphoric celebration. Dr. Edlin, after all, was their guy. Years later, Dr. Edlin became the chairman of the board of Planned Parenthood Federation of America and was even given the Margaret Sanger Award in 2008. And I would note parenthetically that in 2009, Planned Parenthood gave the Sanger Award to Hillary Clinton. And like Gosnell, not a single tear was shed by Dr. Kenneth Edlin or Planned Parenthood for the murdered child victim. Last week, Mr. Speaker, an undercover investigative organization, Live Action, released more undercover videos that expose the abortion industry's absolutely appalling and callous disregard for human life, human rights, and federal law. Previously, Live Action aired several videos showing Planned Parenthood abortion clinic personnel advising women at several clinics throughout the country, including in my own home state of New Jersey, as to how to procure sex selection abortions simply because the unborn child happened to be a little girl. And other equally disturbing videos showing Planned Parenthood staffers who counsel and offer to arrange secret abortions for teenage sex trafficking victims. One of those was in a Planned Parenthood where I went to high school in Perth Amboy. And a young Latina, very young, 14, 15, posing as a woman who had been trafficked with a man that was posing as a pimp, talks, and I advise and ask people to watch those videos. Just go to Live Action, Google it, and you can find it. And watch how they say, we can not only abort this young girl who has been trafficked, and I wrote, Mr. Speaker, the Trafficking Victims Protection Act to combat modern-day slavery, this hideous, of 2000, this hideous modern-day exploitation of mostly of women and children. And there's Planned Parenthood personnel saying how this young girl could get a secret abortion, be back out on the streets, and of course, further exploited by this person who purported to be a pimp. The first call should have been to the police to have them arrested. Instead, they talked about how to get the secret abortion. Live Action has released undercover video showing a Bronx, New York abortion counselor describing how, in violation of U.S. federal law, a born-alive baby would be placed in a jar of toxic solution to ensure his or her death. A D.C. abortionist is also captured on film who talks about leaving a baby born alive after a botched abortion simply to die due to the elements. And an Arizona worker said that they would not resuscitate should a baby survive an abortion attempt. This is not just violence against children. This is against and a violation of federal law. Live Action President Lila Rose has released yet another must-see video of a Maryland abortionist by the name of Dr. Leroy Carhart, who compares a baby in the womb, you got to watch this, to meat in a slow cooker. Meat in a slow cooker. And jokes about his abortion toolkit, complete with pickaxe and drill bit. I watched that and I was sick. This man does so-called legal abortions right within range of this nation's capital. Mr. Speaker, someday, and I believe the day is fast approaching, Americans will look back and wonder how and why such a seemingly enlightened society, so blessed and endowed with education, advanced science, information, wealth, opportunity, could have so utterly failed to protect the innocent and the inconvenient. They will wonder how and why a Nobel Peace Prize winning president could also have simultaneously been the abortion president and Planned Parenthood's best friend, despite the tragic fact, that Planned Parenthood is directly responsible for aborting over 6 million babies in their clinics. History will not look favorably on today's abortion culture. We must instead work tirelessly to replace it with a culture of life. Women and children deserve no less. I yield back the balance of my time.